Number 71.
Hello and welcome to the Three Amigos podcast. This is episode 71. And I'm Mark Mason and I'm joined by my two fellow amigos, Joel Valenzuela. Got it right that time. Yay.
Back from
How's it going, Joel?
Ooh, it's going well. I mean, the leaves are starting to turn. Got my first pumpkin spice latte this season. It's a great day.
Life is good. And Brian, how are you?
Excellent. Ready for the debate.
Yeah, and I'm feeling good because our guest today is Ash Francis, and he's also from the UK. How's it going, Ash?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's nice to be on with a fellow Brit, and hopefully we won't need subtitles along the bottom for everyone to understand us. But we'll get there.
We can have a fair tag team now. The Brits versus the Yanks. Come on, let's do it.
Royal Rumble.
So let's start this off. So you submitted a proposal to the Dash Treasury network for eWallet, which is a Fiat to Dash exchange for the UK market. Your proposal was quite unique because it was one of the first proposals that I think was 8 months, which submitting a proposal for that long was quite unique at that time. But just for people that are unfamiliar with your project, can you just give us a quick recap about what eWallet is and what the mission objective is?
Yeah, absolutely. So really what we're building is a fiat gateway. Obviously, people also know it as an on-ramp, but it's focused on just allowing people in the UK the instant purchase of Dash for GBP, which at the time of putting the proposal in was pretty awkward. It's still quite awkward, but it's a lot more than that as well. When you think of what we are at a very basic level is an exchange, and that affects every single cryptocurrency out there. It's interesting, the 8-month thing, obviously we were quite new to the treasury. We looked at what was already out there, and we wanted to really bootstrap our budget and launch it very sort of quietly. A lot of people spread a, sort of 6-month budget over 2 months or something like that. Whereas for us, we thought we'd do this long, slow approach, which in hindsight was probably not correct at the time, but it's a learning process. But really, yeah, eWallet is just the goal of us is to make Dash more accessible, particularly in the UK initially, but then wherever else we're needed, wherever else the platform fits.
Yeah, y'all probably lost money on it, didn't you? When did you first propose it?
Yeah, we proposed it in was it January, I think, but we proposed it at about $650 a Dash. And effectively we were budgeting around £120,000, and that ended up being around £22,000 so far. Really about 22% of our initial budget. Yeah.
So how did that work out? I think Core escrowed it, right? How did that work?
No, it wasn't a fiat guarantee escrow. It was just a normal escrow. If it was a fiat guarantee escrow, similar to Feedman, they'd have come back for more funding to the DAO. But we all of our public expenses are on that spreadsheet you can see in our proposal. But effectively, we've all put in around £5,000 to £10,000 each to sort of keep this going. We've been working freelance to keep ourselves floating above water. A lot of other, proposals, we put in a gap funding proposal, but the treasury has been really tight, and it's just something where we thought we could sort of demonstrate value and commitment to the network by doing that. And I think as a business entity, that's more on us, and there's more of an onus on us to do that than there is on some of the other entities.
Why do this? Excellent. Why do we need eWallet in the UK? I know, but I want you to tell me.
All right, okay. So in the UK, obviously, there's this banking sort of issue. But if you look at the ways to buy Dash in the UK, there's some instant gateways. So CX.io have one, amongst others. But it comes at a very high fee, and it's awkward. People have mentioned Revolut before, but that's a terrible example. Really, Uphold is the best we've got. But even then, there's issues in making Dash accessible in the UK, and we're not talking just accessible for your basic, investors and customers, and you want it accessible for adoption as well, and you want it for businesses who can instantly remit to GBP. Uphold is really the best we've got. They paused card payments for a while, but there's a lot more to be done on that front, and also in terms of the other aspect of our proposal is the data that we want to provide to the DAO to make adoption actually accountable, and to actually say, this is how many customers' wallets we signed up, and this is what the money in the wallets ends up going to. Obviously, if the customer decides that they want that privacy, they can use private send and maintain the fungibility of it all. But we can say, of the Dash we've sold, 50% of it ended up on exchanges, 30% of it is being held. Any kind of data like that, we can report up to the DAO and sort of provide this insight. But it even goes beyond that. Like, let's say there's a marketing campaign targeting the UK. We don't know after they visit the Dash.org website, buy Dash pages, what happens to them after they leave that site. Whereas we can actually say those visitors resulted in 1,000 Dash, 2,000 Dash, 100,000 Dash being acquired, and we can report that back and actually have a sort of full picture of the marketing efforts that the DAO are putting forward.
Well, you mentioned Uphold, and that seems to be the gold standard as far as like this is the way to convert. Can you do like a head-to-head comparison between?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so part of what we're looking at doing, and this is at the moment. So we're launching with card payments. So we're launching at quite a high fee because card payments, the processing companies charge a high fee. But we're actually pursuing a bank transfer sort of agreement at the moment through a sort of acquiring bank. But it's a clearance bank. It's a clearing bank, so it's a little bit different. But potentially we could lower our fees to as much as 0.5% either side. So beating Uphold significantly on the fee. And to put this into context, let's say the DAO subsidized that fee by $100,000. That would be 20 million Dash, $20 million worth of Dash being purchased at a 1-to-1 ratio. So there's a lot of sort of opportunities there for us. And I think as a small, very agile team just focused entirely on Dash, we can make changes very quickly, which a container ship of a business like Uphold can't.
So what is the Uphold fee?
So what are fees compared to Uphold? And then I have a follow-up question after that.
Yeah, so fees are 1.25% for Uphold. Ours initially, obviously they've got extra, that's for bank transfer, but credit card fees and things vary, and changing of currencies vary. Our initial fees are going to be a bit higher whilst we build up volume, and then we can sort of negotiate that down. So we're looking at about 2.5%, but this could be spread over buyer and seller. So it'd be 1.25% either side, or probably around 1.5% either side.
Cool.
So
follow-up question, Joel?
Yeah, so one of the things that I appreciate the most about Uphold is the automatic conversion thing, where you can just have your static Dash address and just send money to it, and it gets converted instantly for merchants that so desire. Do you have any kind of a similar functionality?
Yeah, so this is not in there at the moment, just basically obviously stage 1, first pilot sort of launch, but it is planned, and we also want to do an extended public address. So this is something that, for example, Spark Payments only takes that, Uphold only give you that one address, whereas you might want a per address transaction sort of, or per transaction address. And if we did an actual extended public key, you'd be able to generate unlimited addresses, which would then instantly remit into US dollars or GBP, for example.
Yeah, so you mentioned bank transfer stuff, and all that conversion is into your proprietary, say, British pound account, but then you still have to transfer it to your bank, correct?
Yeah, with Uphold, yeah.
Is the same with your service?
It's not in there. It's not in the first version of the service, but this is something where we have that flexibility and that agility to be able to add things like that. And I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be for a client to be able to set their thresholds in when they actually withdraw their pounds into their bank account.
Yeah, so the reason I'm poking around is because that's the important thing with the fee structure. Like with, say, Square, the usual credit card service for most coffee shops, for example, in the US is about 2.75%. However, they do not charge for, I guess, 2 business day bank transfers at all. So Uphold charges about $4 for a bank transfer, but as 1.25%. So you have to crunch the math like a business person trying to make ends meet. You have to wait until you have at least $200 worth of merchandise sold in Dash before you can move that USD and actually save versus your credit card thing. And if you do wait till it's like 1,000, it's like $10 to $20 saved in fees, which is pretty nice. But anyway, I'm always thinking of ways of pitching things to merchants.
And we definitely
if you use this, it's going to be better.
We definitely want to move to that side of the business as well, in terms of the upstream instant conversions, as well as sort of empowering those point of sale services. So whether that's working with AnyPay, QRCR, or SparkPay, whatever really where we fit, we'd like to sort of move in that direction, and we could do the instant bank transfers. But in the UK, they're actually, we can transfer in 2 hours, or typically within a few minutes, to a business we've already paid before, which is one of the advantage of our faster payments network, which is quite helpful.
Yeah, I use Kraken over Uphold. Is Kraken not available there?
Yeah, Kraken's available. They're euros in the UK, so you have to do the euro sort of conversion. I mean, the exchanges are fine. Like we're what I'd like to say is that we're not GDAX or Coinbase Pro as it's known now. We're more Coinbase. We're more at this stage. We're more for that sort of earlier adoption, more basic level. Not someone looking at limits and stops in the markets and watching candles. We're looking at someone who just wants to buy some Dash. They've heard good things. They want to get some, and we want to help them with that.
Yeah, it's been really limiting for the UK because in terms of major exchanges, there's not many that have the Great British Pound trading pair direct to Dash. There's euros, but then we still have to, that's why we had to previously go through the whole Revolut process, and you get this long-winded step-by-step process, and that includes bank transfers. And even if you was going to use Coinbase and everything, you'd have to use bank transfer again. So like you'd be waiting a week, essentially. It's pretty insane. Although I must say, and this is actually a really important question, because there was news from Coinbase today. They put up a blog post saying in the UK they're launching today with the Great British Pound. But I've never used Coinbase service myself. But the one issue in the crypto community is that hardcore crypto people don't like Coinbase because you're not in control of your own private key.
Right.
How does, because they see that as kind of like centralized, right? How does that work on eWallet? Is that a similar kind of setup, or
you can choose? So you could either have it custodial service, and also we're investigating the legality of actually running a custodial service and whether that's something we'd want to offer down the line in terms of actually running masternodes and returning the rewards to the user. Obviously, there's a lot of legislation around that, so it's something that we'd have to investigate very thoroughly before we went ahead with. Really, I can show you a demo of the platform, but effectively we allow people to withdraw straight to their Dash wallet at this stage. So we guide them to the official Dash apps on their phones, and they can just withdraw directly to that Dash address. They don't have to store it in Coinbase, and we don't charge anything for that if they go for an instant withdrawal to their Dash address.
And Brian's favorite question of all, does it have instant send enabled?
So we're not receiving any Dash at the moment, but we can send out with instant send on the node. Like we can send out. We don't by default at the moment, but we can. Obviously, there's the instant send by default is coming for small transactions soon anyway, but it's just something where we have that option open to us. Like it is built into our system.
Cool, man. So where are you at right now? So because the 8-month proposal's finished now, right?
Yes,
and you was meant to launch in September. So in terms of progress, like a loading bar, how close are you to actually launching? Where are we at right now?
Considering the 23% of funding, we've done really well. I'm really proud of the guys. Alex we've protected him more than anything from any freelance work. So he's just been plowing straight on with this. We were supposed to have a front end developer as part of our funds. We haven't. So Alex has done that as well, with a little bit of help from me, but very little. Really, we've been talking to a lot of banks. We probably talked to about 20 acquiring banks and merchant processors now, and we're actually making some real progress. We went to the Isle of Man last week, which was really good. Last week or the week before, sort of losing track a little. I think it was the week before. Yeah, so we went on the 12th to the Isle of Man to talk to the government there, as well as we were invited by a Mastercard owner who might be in the chat. You're welcome to say hi if you are. And we were invited there to just talk through our options on the island. It's very legislative friendly. In the 2 days we were there, we got introduced straight to members of the government that were highly relevant to what we're doing. The head of sort of digital entrepreneur enterprise, and just a lot of really good people. So it's very friendly crypto sphere, I guess, or could be a friendly crypto sphere. We made some good banking contacts there, and we're pursuing those, but we're actually 90%, 99% of the way there with a high risk merchant partner called Quafe.net, and I think I'm allowed to say this. I'm allowed to disclose them. Anyone's allowed to look them up. They're called Quafe.net. They work with high risk merchants, so gambling and crypto firms, sort of thing, or e-gaming as they call it, the correct way. But really, we're signed up with them. We've embedded them into the platform. We're just doing all of our know your client checks and all of our sort of final sort of contracts and checking and dotting the T's and crossing the I's. And doing all that side of things, which is coming along really well, and we're hoping we can launch either next week or the following week, but it's really dependent on their end and their final sort of checks. But it's coming along pretty well. It's hard. We've been on the precipice of launch for a few weeks now, but we're on that final straight, I'd say.
What kind of security? We hear about these exchanges getting hacked all the time. Y'all have got to be worrying about that, or have got what's
absolutely. So Alex is a sort of AWS consultant, so he can he'd be the man to ask about the actual technical side of the security. But in terms of what we do, we have a very, very sort of high level of security and regulation. So we meet all of our rules on actually, all the sort of know your client, anti-money laundering. But we're also not holding customers' money because we have this instant Dash remittance to their own wallet. At this stage, we're not holding any customers' money. Even when we receive GBP from the customers, it's instantly converted into Dash and sent out. So we're not actually holding any customers' money. The only funds that are held in the exchange are any that shows our liquidity. So the only risk at that point is posed to us.
Excellent. I didn't want to ask this so earlier on, but in the live chat, Stephen Hill's just asked, how will you promote it? And I'm glad, actually, because Ash is the right person for this, because there is actually marketing involved in the proposal as well. And Ash actually has a big background in marketing and advertising. I think you've spent like over £1 million or dollars in advertising, right?
Yeah. I'm a Google Premier partner with orange tag and stuff like that, but yeah, I've managed a lot of ad spend a bit. That's a very specific area of it. Really, I hate to harp on about the budget, but our budget was killed. We had to cannibalize anything for marketing, so everything that we do has to be a little bit more organic. In terms of our actual market programs, it's a case of, I don't know how we can sort of launch it organically and grow it without actually coming back to the DAO for more funding for a marketing budget. So one of the ways we're doing that is through an affiliate program. So we're actually going to provide ways for people to generate money by using us. So, right, this is going into the future plans level again, but let's say, Evolution comes out, it's a system designed for developers to build upon it. So we can build an Evolution sort of widget, I guess, a drop-in solution for embedding eWallet directly into a wallet, where an Evolution wallet, whoever it is, either Cause or some other entities. And that wallet can generate revenue for the developer or, any sort of things like that. So that's an upstream sort of service. We've also spoken a lot to Fernando and Waxman about what we can do to promote ourselves to the existing Dash audience. So anything we can do free and organic at the moment is very good. But otherwise, we will have to, work for a marketing budget somewhere to actually do any paid promotion.
Yeah, you had talked about coming back to the DAO for 100,000 to help with lower the fees and stuff, which I think is a good idea. You also talked about equity with Dash Ventures. How would that work?
Yeah, so equity is a good question. Really, it's something that we're pretty keen to offer. I've always been welcoming and said that we should offer equity. I think any sort of business that's operating for Dash and is getting startup funding by Dash and by the DAO should actually offer equity in one form or another. We did a feasibility study. We can offer tokens like Kuva, and I don't think everyone wants a token for every single different sort of asset. If we do come back to the DAO for funding, which we are looking at doing, we would be doing that with offering equity, and at the moment it would have to be via a letter of intent signed by the directors. But once Ventures is established in whatever form, then we would give that equity over. Obviously, our reputations are at stake on that, but we'll do whatever legal thing we can. I've been asking Omar and Bradley for months now. Is it ready? Can we be the first people? I want to do this. I think it's only reasonable. I'm not. I just want to do it right by the book, and I'd much rather the DAO had ownership of eWallet over a private investor and be beholden to their whims.
So when's D-Day? Do you have like an official launch date, or are you just holding off until...
Once Quaif have approved us, we'll probably spend a week testing the system again and just making sure everything works within their payment processing gateway, and then we'll launch. So we could be looking at about 2 weeks, really, but we'll keep you updated, and we'll do a full sort of launch PR sort of work with Fernando and everyone, really. But we're getting there. We are very much getting there, and it's been a bit of a long haul sort of struggle. We put a lot of time and a lot of energy into this. So yeah, we're hoping we'll be able to launch within the next 2 weeks.
Wow. Is it time for that sneak peek? The money shot. Show me the money.
Right. It's the first time for everything, so give me a second.
Viewers under the age of 18 must now avert their eyes. I'm talking to you, Pasta.
Okay, right. Can you guys see my screen right now? Is this all working?
Yes. Yeah, I'll put it on you.
Let's lose the chat. All right, cool. Right. So this is, I'm just got an email account with Proton Mail set up, just eWallet demo Proton Mail. So let's just refresh the staging screen, sneak peek, guys. Right, so let's just go to sign up and sign up a new account. So eWallet demo. There we go. Convenient. Okay, so since we're on the staging version, everything is sort of supposed to be sort of quite instant. At the moment, it's just encrypting all the password and doing loads of spam checks and things. So we've got a verified email address. Obviously, the user has to verify their email just so we know that they're legitimate. And any emails we send up further on will actually go to the person in question. So now I've confirmed their email. They're onto the Know Your Client or Know Your Customer, which is just a case of uploading some details so we can comply with our sort of anti-money laundering, Know Your Customer, anti-terrorist financing sort of laws. So let's just upload a picture. Again, this is auto-approved because it's the testnet. Yeah, gotta love a picture of a cat. And seeing as it's auto-approved, it's taken us straight through to the dashboard. Okay, so this is where you can start to see what the actual thing does. So you can see about the Dash wallet address. So at the moment, it's a direct withdrawal. Transaction history appears below once you've made a transaction. Obviously, we can trigger them to get a Dash wallet. But let's make a purchase. We'll just leave it at the defaults. I've got a testnet address right here. I can just chuck in there. This is actually from my copay wallet on my phone, so I'm going to have to go back to it. Right, so this order's now been placed. We lock in the rate for 15 minutes to reduce volatility risk on our side and on their side, and they can cancel this at any time without any sort of issue. So obviously you see we've gone through to sort of a confirmation page. They can now choose to pay now, and payment widget pops up and enter in their card details, really. These are placeholder card details. So let's chuck that in. Don't steal my bank account details, please, guys.
Quick, Joel, get a pen.
Okay, so now the transaction's getting confirmed on the network, and I can actually unlock my phone at the moment, and let's make sure I switch back to my camera. Once I get back to Google thing. Sorry, this is the actual admin page, so I can see the transactions as they're happening and see the confirmations coming through and what's actually sort of going on and the different orders and the users. So we've got our own little admin dashboard so they can see everything that's sort of going on. Right, so I'm just going to go back to the Hangout, which is on one of these tabs, that one, and I'm just going to switch over to my screen. And you should be able to see now that I have received, this works, received my T-Dash.
Yay!
So it's all instant. It all goes through straight away. Obviously, the instant side of things. Thankfully, the copay wallet actually stays synced to the latest block. But yeah, everything works really well. It's quite clear. If I actually go to my back to my dashboard, you'll see that everything in terms of Know Your Client, I can see on my users list. I can go to this user and see all their sort of pictures and everything that sort of they've uploaded and approve and reject them and any orders made. You can see again account limits and anything like that. So we limit our orders same way Coinbase do, that we increase the orders, their order limit as they go through the system, as they've made more purchases.
What are the limitations then? If I sign up first time, how much can I buy?
At the moment, we're still deciding that. From the issue at the moment is our own liquidity. So I'm just going to turn off screen share. The issue at the moment is our own liquidity. So having obviously only received a certain amount of Dash, we don't have a massive volume to sell. So we're going to limit it quite to a low amount first, probably around between £50 and £400 to begin with, which is
I like it a lot.
$600.
Yeah, that thing's very clean, very easy to navigate. It's much easier than Uphold. I mean, by far, that Uphold's very switch it to this card and send it to that card. That's just like very straightforward. I like it.
Yeah,
Dash exclusive as well, right?
Yeah, Dash exclusive. Dash exclusive. We're committed.
Oh, that's really great. Actually, I'm really impressed with that because I saw the mock-ups and stuff, and the website ewallet.co.uk looks great as well. But this is the first time I've actually seen the exchange platform in itself like working. So yeah. It does. It looks clean. It's minimalistic and it's simple. I feel like I could send my friends and family and elderly family to use this, and it's just pretty straightforward. And I know for other people in other parts of the world there are other solutions, but in the UK this has been such a huge problem, especially actually when it actually comes to onboarding businesses as well. Because it's much more difficult in the UK to onboard businesses with Dash than it is in the States. Especially they're more, really concerned about the back end currency converting exchange as well, because we don't have as many independent businesses here as you do in the States, where we have big franchise businesses mostly, and we look to the government to solve all our problems, whether it's healthcare, education, everything. So like we're very trusted. We're not as optimistic as you guys are. But we want to get there. We want to get to that point.
Phrasing that, but okay.
We just need these solutions, and we've needed it for a long time. I mean, one of the biggest exchanges for years now, I'm sure about from my personal experience, was Bitstamp, but that was always in euros. So you guys know I've been in the game for a long time. So when I first got involved, I was and for the most part, I've used localbitcoins.com. Now, at first, you didn't have to always give the person selling you, your ID and all that sort of stuff. But now that's become commonplace on there as well now. But even still, you'd have to get Bitcoin and then have to go to another exchange to convert that. So there's an ongoing process. So this is a really good thing for the UK. And the UK is a really big market. What is it? The fifth biggest economy in the world. Yeah. And and Dash hasn't had any action really as of yet. So this is a good thing.
Yeah, have you seen Bitylicious as well? That was one of my first experiences, which I absolutely hated. The design of that site is abhorrent. I could not stand it. I was just like, how are people trusting this with hundreds of thousands of pounds? Like, this is just, dodgy. You're sending money to some random bank account somewhere in the hopes that you'll end up with some Bitcoin. Like, it's a mess, and it's something where it's maturing, and the marketplace is maturing. There's a lot of really good places out there that are coming to the table, and we're really happy to be a Dash exclusive entity that's trying to make this a bit better for everyone, not just the UK. Hopefully we'll expand. I've got some big news. I probably should have mentioned this before, but I mentioned it briefly. I should have mentioned it before the call, but I've actually got a Canadian visa, so I'm going to be moving to North America at the end of next month. In 1 month, I'm going to be moving to Vancouver.
Nice.
Traitor!
Yeah.
I hear the weather's very nice.
It's the Commonwealth. It's okay. It still counts.
It's okay. It's still got the same queen. It's all right. Is she on the money? She's on the money.
Yeah, she's still the head of state. Yeah.
Well, you mean she on the fake money? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, she's on the silver. She's on the silver Canadian.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, the other one. Yeah.
Well, Ron Paul's on my silver. So.
But Ash, I think what a lot of people want to know, because I'm sure Mastodon is already familiar with your face because you've been posting video updates, but there'll be many in the community. This will be the first time they're seeing you. So what I want to know is, why are you doing this? Why do you care about Dash? Like, why Dash? Why are you doing this?
All right, so you said I'm a
where the hell did you come from?
First and foremost. So yeah, I've dabbled in crypto for I guess a few years now, but not ever really particularly heavily. But when you see Dash and the fact it has a treasury, like, I'm not gonna lie, the treasury, actual money behind it, putting money into development, putting money into marketing, putting money into integration and business development, it is a different entity. It's on its own level, and I don't think that people appreciate that. And there's this sort of view that everything should be holistic and everyone should work for Bitcoin for free because it's better for the world, but that's not a reality. That's not based on reality. I know that good teams get paid. You look at what Core are doing, you look at the actual professionals we're able to take from serious industry players, and yeah, I bought massively into Dash. Like, I've been active on the Discord more than most. I've been dedicated to putting all the proposal updates and just trying to be involved in this because I'm so invested in it, both personally, financially, and my life revolves around Dash and eWallet right now for, I guess, for a year now or so. But yeah, I'm just pretty committed.
How long did you say you were involved in Dash? It seems like I saw you like in the old Slack. Is that where you?
No, I've not been around. Maybe someone had a similar sort of name. It's pretty common, I guess, somewhere. But no, I probably came back to Dash in, I guess, probably about a year ago now. About a year that I actually started being active in the Dash community.
But you've been in crypto for a while, like you've always.
Yeah. I've dabbled a little bit. I had my own business, 6 years ago now, and then after that, I looked around at investing, and I made the mistake of not getting too much into crypto, and I was playing around with other things. I actually bought a house, which was my investment, but maybe I should have been a high risker, but I wasn't at the time. Hindsight's 2020.
Playing it safe, man. You need a roof over your head at the end of the day. So
yeah, exactly.
And you're keeping it dashy right now. That's all we can ask for.
Oh, yes. One second. Wait, 1 second.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Not good.
Yeah,
I can see you're repping the Dash swag, and I meant to, but I actually haven't got around to unpacking it yet. We've actually got Dash shirts as well. So we finally got ourselves on that hype. But yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, unlike Mark, it actually has the updated logo.
Yeah. Ash, you're going to have to send me one, mate.
Yeah. Well, we'll take over the world. We'll be global. It's fine.
Yeah, no, this is a really good thing. So the platform itself looks really great. I guess if I was going to be super critical, I guess the only thing is in its way from preventing its success is that once it launches, it's just letting everyone know about it, which I guess is what you kind of addressed with, speaking to Fernando, getting Waxman to do the press release.
Yeah,
obviously, Dash Force News has got your back, but yeah, and I guess that's where the other proposal comes into it. Actually, you've got a Dash Boost proposal up right now as well, but that's not connected.
Yeah,
is it?
It's not connected. Basically, because we've the funding shortfall, none of us have actually been paid. Well, Alex is the only one that's actually been paid any salary out of this. Me and Rich are both on negative money. We've been doing lots of freelance work to keep our sort of selves afloat and really sort of put the time into this and not come crawling back to the DAO month on month saying we don't have any money. And yeah, we've been doing some other sort of freelance stuff. So that Dash Boost proposal, that was a request from a Masternode owner who again might be in the chat, might not be, which effectively he was looking for something that would make it more accessible to sort of approach exchanges. So one of the sort of big parts of that is looking at exchange pairs and liquidity, and there's two different sides. Well, there's a million different sides of the market, but a lot of people are looking at adoption, but it's also important that we serve the investors and the trading side of things. So Dash has 173 pairs listed on CoinMarketCap, whereas Bitcoin Cash has 317, Litecoin has more than 400, and it's just a case of actually having a strategic approach to go to exchanges. So this tool features all Dash exchanges that Dash isn't featured on. It's sortable by their volume and liquidity when that's possible. It features all the exchanges Dash is featured on, but where there are opportunities for more Dash pairs like Dash F, Dash LTC, anything like that. And it alerts us when Dash is added to a new exchange, so we can promote that. You guys can then tweet that it's been added here, and if it's been removed, someone can address that. So if there's less Dash pairs on a exchange, someone can reach out and say, why has this happened, and actually stop that from happening. So it's just a tool really to help with that.
Would this tool be real time as well?
It'll update
because it's pulling the stuff from API, right?
Yeah. So it's all using the CoinMarketCap new professional API that's came out. It's annoyingly it is at their more expensive level because they don't provide market pairs at the basic level. But it pulls it all from the CoinMarketCap API. It'll probably update. The polling will probably be every 5 minutes or so. So it'll be very quick to update.
That's interesting.
Yeah, how's the Dash Boost proposal doing? Is it passing?
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, the guy that requested it, I think he weighed in at some point, and yeah, we're second on the list now, I think. But yeah, it's doing well. I didn't communicate it very well straight away because it didn't really come from me, but I wanted to do it because I believed in it. I thought it was a good idea, but I didn't communicate it very well straight away. But yeah, it's doing really well now, thankfully.
So simply put, this Dash Boost tool. So let's say like me and Joel, an article's been done and we're looking at volume, but we can just open up this. It's going to be like a web page or like a Google sheet.
Yeah, it's going to be a Google sheet. It's a Google sheet. Yeah.
And basically we can just look at it quickly and we can identify exchanges that perhaps haven't integrated Dash yet, or ones that there's a lot of volume on Dash and there might be opportunity to add more pairs. So we can actually look at that and actually base that on data.
Yeah, real data that you could use for your research. I hadn't even considered the sort of reporting angle side of it, so apologies, but I'd thought of it more as the actual pursuing new listings and monitoring our existing listings. But yeah, there's a lot of valuable insight there that could be used to make articles and sort of say, like, why is this happening? Or there's a geographic region that Dash is really taking off in, like Chinese investors. There's loads more new exchanges in China, for example, that have taken on Dash. But anything like that, there's a lot of different avenues to this tool, and it's cheap. Yeah,
I'm just thinking about the charts and the data that you can make up from certain regions, certain exchanges, and sometimes just right now on discover-.com, we're seeing certain locations are competing with each other to get more merchants. So they actually incentivize them. So perhaps if exchanges, and we're presenting this perhaps on the official Dash channel, saying like, here are the top 5 or top 10 exchanges, and then they're going to want to compete, but also as well, it helps spread awareness as well, because people see that and they go, oh, I've not thought about using that exchange because most people get stuck in the habit of using one or two, and they're not open to do anything. But of course, if there's more liquidity and there's more volume on other exchanges, it makes sense to hop on over, right? So yeah, I think that's a great thing. There is a question in the live chat.
Yeah, I've just seen that.
And it is important to address.
Absolutely. So my visa for Canada is for 2 years. It's not for full time. I'm still resident, UK resident, and it's really to make sort of be able to sort of expand to the US and to Canada. We'll be pursuing money transfer licenses as part of the expansion plan. But we want to also work with sort of the Venezuelan remittance market. There's a few different things, different conversations happening at the moment, but we'll still have the UK business. The office here will still be based here. Rich and Alex will still be based here or in the Isle of Man. Not decided that yet. But yeah, the business will still be running in the UK, and much the same to core being, having Fernando in Switzerland and everyone everywhere will still be working directly on the business. My role is very much the marketing side, whereas Alex will be handling development, whereas Rich will be handling the operations and the financial side. So effectively, we've got these different moving parts, but I'll be based in Canada, whilst those two are based here, and we'll go from there.
Whereabouts in Canada are you going to? Out of curiosity, Vancouver?
Yeah, Vancouver.
What's just over the borderline, right?
Yeah,
New Hampshire's right there. Joel is literally just
over the borderline. Not Vancouver. That's pretty far.
Oh no,
yeah.
But I mean, like, New Hampshire's not that far away in the grand scheme of things.
It's let me just actually check. Yeah, that's like
it's a good ways.
It's a good ways.
It's like at least 5 hours via plane flight. So but you know what, it is
close to Albert.
Yeah, close to Albert. I know you're watching, Albert. I know you want to meet this guy.
But yeah, so if you do get the opportunity, I do recommend stopping by New Hampshire, because that for me kind of dropped the penny when you just see all these businesses and merchants that are using Dash. And now we've got other announcements to make this week that are really, really exciting, but I'll hold back on that. Yeah, I'd definitely say swing by and see that, because the Dash movement really is live and kicking there. And if you are only in Canada for 2 years, you can take that experience and you can bring it back to the UK and wallet, and then hopefully form like a partnership. Perhaps you can speak to.
I was going to say the AnyPay guys. I'd like to speak to them and see, because we'd like to do that sort of upstream services for point of sale. I think there's a big avenue for us to help out there, and where we can move the platform to serve that need, then we'd like to do so.
Yeah, and don't forget Kodak's, who's got the Spark payments.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the new kid on the block, and it looks really sexy, and that's Dash exclusive as well. And I know you all understand this, but for viewers watching, as I said earlier, UK, we're having a really tough time onboarding businesses because we don't have that infrastructure. If we've got a POS solution, and then it does have that back end to a service like yours, where merchants' concerns are, where they need
no volatility, no volatility whatsoever.
So this is what we're missing. This is the missing piece of the puzzle, and that would be a real godsend or dove send, that we can actually then onboard businesses, because Brits are so pedantic, and they want that conversion on the back end.
It can be better than what we currently have. If I sign up to Square, as the example earlier, it takes a while. I've got a 24-hour period before I actually get my money. But Dash, there's no chargebacks, there's no sort of refunds unless the merchant wants to, and you could pay out instantly. That merchant can have that GBP in their bank account straight away. Via faster payments, it'll go straight in, as long as the sort of legislation allows us to do that. But yeah, there's an opportunity there to be better than what the incumbents have. And the UK has a good financial system. It's not like some of the other areas. It is a good financial system. I can walk in anywhere and tap my phone and pay for everything. But we can actually beat that with Dash right now, with a small bit of adjustment with Spark, and with an instant fiat conversion that gets paid out straight away.
So for selfish reasons, I want you to succeed. But if you put in a new proposal, especially if that's going to include a marketing fund, in a dream scenario, how would you approach this? How would you use your marketing advertising brain to get the eWallet out there? If money wasn't an issue, what would you do?
So the affiliate program is a really good way to do it, because then you've got other people advertising for you. You've got all these sort of marketing sort of websites like CoinMarketCap, like CoinGecko, all these things that are listing and talking about Dash, which can talk about you through your affiliate program. You've got bloggers, you've got vloggers, you've got lots of content creators that can talk about you through that. There's a lot of there's a lot of different sort of areas where people can refer their friends, they can refer, you know, their contacts in one way or another, and that's a really good way, which is just a development side of things, you know, and then it's actually marketing that affiliate program. But there's a lot of people that are looking for those affiliate programs at the moment. Really, I wouldn't do much of the Google advertising. I do a bit because that's what I'm experienced with. I test the market and get a base level of success for that. But I'd be looking at a lot of sort of PR work. So I've got a lot of coverage before in sort of major newspapers like The Guardian, The Sun, everything like that. I'd like to do that again, but there has to be a story there. And you know, you guys have a lot of experience on that level, but it's a case of working with what there is. We'd like to integrate directly into the wallets. To be honest, I'd like to be straight into, you know, the Dash core wallet for people in the UK looking to convert from GBP to Dash. I'd like our widget to show, and then otherwise maybe the Uphold widget can show. But you know, we can help with that development and we can get integrated in that. So you know, it's just little things like that.
Well, I hope one of the conversations you had with Fernando is that next month, fingers crossed, the new Dash refresh website will launch.
Yeah,
and it'll be great if we could get you listed on there as well. So make sure you make a note of that. Fernando, if you're watching, I know you're a fan. Just saying, write that down.
What's the current merchant count on Discover Dash?
It's like almost 3,300. Yeah, that's what it was last time I checked.
The UK. I mean,
like, oh, it's not. It's not.
I'm just kidding.
It's under 100. It's not good.
Yeah,
I'll pull it up while we're talking. But
What about Venezuela? Where are we at there now?
1620 or so. 1620.
Yeah, 1,612 when I did a chart earlier, but it's probably updated since then. That was this morning, and the numbers change by the hour. People,
Colombia's coming aboard now. They seem last time they had 100 and something.
Yeah, so I think there's still a few to add. I think when I last looked, there was 96. So some of those in that announcement are still yet to be added to Discover Dash. But yeah, they're over 100 now.
It is 66.
66 was a great year because that was the year that England won the World Cup. So you can stay at 66 for a little bit.
I thought you were going to talk about the Battle of Hastings. I was confused.
Oh, no,
yes, I was going to say 1066 was that one.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. That's something else. Stick with the football.
Fine. I can do that.
Yeah, the only time England's won the World Cup.
I think it's crazy to look at these sort of like microcosms where, you know, Keene, New Hampshire, Venezuela, and these different places where Dash can actually take hold, and the infrastructure requirements. Like, I love the fact that Venezuela have this approach of getting all these merchants on board and then getting the Dash into people's hands. It's a chicken egg sort of problem, but they've already solved and cracked the egg, or whatever you would say. And now they're trying to look at getting Dash into people's hands to spend. I don't know what happened, like how that happened with Keene. You know, how did that happen, Joel?
Yeah, that's the thing is, with Keene in New Hampshire, there was already sort of a and Portsmouth, and I mean, Keene's actually a little guy in New Hampshire. Portsmouth is
the main area. Yeah,
it's much more significant. I mean, you haven't seen CNN go out to Keene, now have you? But the thing is, we already had communities there that had crypto and wanted to spend it, and so that was already solved. You just get merchants, and then now you get a little thing going. And I think that with chicken and egg type problems, people tend to just get paralyzed. Chicken or the egg is one or the other, so I'm just going to sit here and worry about it. It's like, well, if you solve one, then all of a sudden you only got the chicken or the egg to deal with. And then all of a sudden it becomes, oh yeah, now I already solved this part of the other thing. It's like, get to work, you lazy people.
So are you still positive about Dash? Because obviously you must have been super enthusiastic when you first submitted your proposal. It's been, what, 8 months now? So you've been through it all. So when you submitted that, you know, the price was pretty good for Dash right then. And obviously you've been on this roller coaster. Do you still love Dash? I mean, like, because you must have had some hurdles and some hard conversations.
Yeah, I've had some really hard conversations, and we've had to really struggle through this. You know, it's not been easy. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears gone into this. I've pulled 60, 80 hours a week to sort of work freelance and build stuff to keep afloat. I've been worried about how I can pay for these guys' salaries so Alex can pay his rent, you know, and actually live and not live under a bridge. But, you know, I really like the community here. It's a welcoming, supportive community, and there's a lot of really good things happening. And I do believe in Dash itself a lot as well. There's the big thing that did it for me, I think, that I should have mentioned earlier, really, was a Bitcoin Wednesday speech by Evan. And I don't know what it was 2014 or something, I think. And I was just like, the ideals behind it, which are still true to this day, are the fundamentals are what really sold me, and they still do. I still believe in that transition. And the business I had before was in short-term loans, and it was immoral, and it didn't give me any rewarding sensation. I'd love to be part of a change from one financial ecosystem to another that empowers people, whether that's in Venezuela or in the UK or elsewhere.
Wow, so you really are on the financial freedom. You really did take the red pill. And
I just take the red pill, yeah, pretty heavily.
Yeah, well, that is actually quite a big turnaround. I mean, people don't like. Oh, I was going to say you're loan shark, but especially in the UK, I mean, it's a pretty, it's been pretty demonized in the media. So you kind of done like a full 180 and going in a different direction now, but you're doing it the right way.
Well, I went back into work afterwards. I sold off some of the assets of the business. That's when I invested in the property. And then I just went back into work, and I was just trying to find some meaning in what I was going to do next. And this popped up, I sort of ran with it. And here we are, hopefully on the eve of actually launching this thing and seeing where we can take it. But, yeah.
So you're obviously a creative guy, and you've got a good business background behind you. Since this project has started, there's been a lot of updates from Core on the new dips with 12.4 drop in. So although I want you to deliver this project, have you had any other ideas, future projects that you would like to do in the Dash ecosystem? Because you must be thinking constantly of new ideas.
So I've spoken quite a lot to Yuri and Jeff of Dash Nexus, and when their proposal came about, I was just like, yes, thank God. Like, just actually bringing it to the level, Dash Whale and then Dash Central, it's along the whole platform that hasn't modernized much. And it's lovely to see someone actually bring something to the DAO that is fully designed and they've got a really good strategy. I feel like the quality of their proposal set a new standard, it set a new bar. And I think that a lot of people have started to see that, and the accountability and the maturity of the DAO is showing a lot more now. And especially when it's got more competitive, it's put people on a little bit of fire under people to actually have a better standard of reporting to Dash Watch. And I think that's fantastic. But in terms of going forwards, I mentioned that on the forum that I really wanted someone to move into due diligence, because I think that that's a good element. But for us, really, there's a lot of plans for eWallet. So the bank transfer, the off-ramp, the euros, the Canadian dollars, the US dollars, the Venezuelan remittance stuff, the upstream services for point of sale, an API so developers can integrate with us via an affiliate program, custodial services if that's wanted by the DAO. Crypto dash pairs. So Shapeshift just did a KYC announcement. So for a lot of people, that's a turn off. We could get into that. We've already developed full APIs that integrate with Binance and Poloniex and KuCoin. So we could actually do full sort of crypto dash pairs converting from whatever other crypto into Dash, and that could be integrated in a wallet. There's a lot of different avenues where our platform can go, because at the basic level, we're just exchange. Whether that's fiat or crypto.
Will you always be web-based? Would you ever go mobile? Would you create an app? Or
yeah, we definitely create an app. I mean, everything that we're developing, the backend system, it's all designed to scale. Like everything it's not just locked down to this one specific service. Alex is a fantastic developer. I call it out enough, but he's very, very good at what he does. But yeah, everything's designed to go to that level. We just have to develop the front end wrapper around it. Everything's designed in React. We just do it in React Mobile. Sorry, I don't want to get technical. And also, it's not my strength. I do a bit that way. But yeah, we definitely stay sort of the more technical solutions. I'm not much for sort of advocacy and signing on businesses and that side of things. I would definitely always be at the infrastructure and utility level.
I would like you to develop a widget for website applications based in the UK, so they can put a widget on the side, a bit like you get the exchange ones from CoinMarketCap, but it's normally like a calculator, right? I would just like one saying like buy Dash, and you could choose your amount and it will show it, and then you can click to go to your website, and then you could incentivize websites to put that widget on their website. And if people click through,
straight up the affiliate program. You guys can make money in the UK with our widget. We can have that widget on the side, affiliate program. It's captured audience. We can even report back to you which page they came from on an anonymized basis and how much Dash they purchased. all this stuff can be done as part of the affiliate program, which is sort of embedding widgets and tracking codes and everything like that, which we're already tracking everything through the system anyway, through UTM codes, which is part of the initial proposal. But yeah, the technical nature of that's a bit outside the scope of this. But yeah, we can track and report on everything. But we also can't, if you would choose as the owner not to have that, then you can't, privacy is a concern and everyone can use private send. There's nothing that we can do beyond private send. So any of that stuff is a choice.
Excellent. Well, I would say we're put on Dashforce News, but we're an international community, so the UK is a bit limited.
We can make it check the UK. We can make it check the geolocate the IP, and then you can have it in the UK.
That's a very valid point. Yeah, so I think that would be a great onboarding.
Sign up my first affiliate. Boom.
Because
businessman,
we know in terms of advertising and stuff in general, just YouTubers are struggling. Everyone's struggling. People aren't making the same money even from Google AdSense on the websites. Although those that read dashforcenews.com will have read the article today that Google are now allowing cryptocurrency adverts again. They clicked that button from there was the ban button and then there's like the unban button and now they've hit the unban button. So for the time being, it looks like we're in the green. So there's going to be ICO adverts all over again. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we should probably start wrapping up here, but I wanted to say I'm very impressed with what they've got done so far with the limited funds and the drop in the price. Sounds like I got a great foundation built. Very exciting.
Yeah, the commitment is there. You can tell, can't you?
Yeah,
of course. Well,
thank you very much for having me on. I've really enjoyed this. This has been a new experience for me, and I'm looking forward to sharing the announcement with everyone when we actually do fully hit that launch button and go live ourselves.
Yes, that's good. I could throw in a couple little bits about the West, because I stopped by the Dash Core offices in Arizona, of course, and then met with their marketing guy Michael out in San Diego, and because I know, do you remember the troll video of like going into the yeah, so first off, that place is pretty busy. It's not clearly labeled it's not by design. I mean, how crazy is it that you can just like walk in to some office in this kind of a space? Because think about it, money makes people crazy, and the internet is already crazy. So you combine online anonymous trolls with money, and you get the craziest people out there. So, I mean, it would be. There we go, Mark.
People just do things for money. It's just like really sad.
Yeah, it's like we need an undisclosed location. We need to get them a helicarrier to do on like a different location everywhere. But yeah, the place is hopping. Like there was a whole bunch of people all the time working, coming in and out, et cetera, et cetera. They've got a very good team. There's a few there we'd like to have on the podcast at some point, especially Alex Chopin. I don't know if he's decided he wants to be on yet, but he's got every bit. He's got like as much personality as the three amigos combined. So he's a very interesting.
He's a master of strategy.
He's got a lot of energy.
He's
yes. Yeah. And then of course met Michael out in San Diego and chatted with him. Mark and I are very familiar with that guy because we coordinate PR stuff with him. But yeah, so I'm always impressed with the Dash community working around the world, and then the core team especially. And I had a good time, a good chance to have a in-depth chat with the core team about strategy and about criticisms and about things like that. And I'm very confident that they're on the same page. And it's not like, well, what do you mean? Or I don't care about that or whatever. It seems like they're very much on the ball. And we had a little, partially because this is the way certain people like to engage. We definitely got a little engaged and a little pushing back against each other for a while about, no, I don't think that. No way. Yes way. You're not seeing this, and on that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a good time moving forward with this whole thing. I have very good hopes for the future of the ecosystem.
When's Saving Private Ryan or Saving Private Dash going to put in his next proposal to get completely shot down?
See, I really liked you, Ash, up until that point.
It's going to get destroyed. I reckon it's going to have an even worse ratio than Unicorn.
Well, yeah, it depends on who you want to fire. I mean, but to be honest, it's just like they seem like like when you start picking out, especially when you start picking out critics, and a lot of us have had, you know, very legitimate criticisms of other projects, of each other, and things like that. There's no one's perfect, right? But if you start comparing like the hardworkingness and professionalism of the core team and how much they could bring to the table and like intellectually, etc., yeah, they got stuff on another level, and it's pretty good to see. Now, it was also funny because like Ryan comes in, he just sits down, and he's just like, "Oh, how's it been?" And says, "Oh, well, I've been sick. I had pneumonia. I was in the hospital, so I've only been working 10-hour days." Like, oh, geez, like it's not quite like, I'm sure there's some people that just like, "Yay, my proposal got funded. Off to the Bahamas for some cocktails, and I'll figure out how to make this doing." Isn't that right, Ash?
This is a fake backdrop. That coffee machine, it's not real. Ignore it.
Yeah, just give a big Sparta kick, and then you see the palm tree behind when the wall falls down.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Ryan Taylor, absolute workhorse. He was up at 5 a.m. this morning. I'm sure he won't remind me of sharing this. 5 a.m. his time. Already starting the working day, and was talking about a few things. So although people don't see it, I do feel bad for him sometimes, because when we saw like the Coinbase news come out, early this week, people were asking questions like, people, I'm telling you, Cora on it. Ryan, I didn't even need to ask him, but you know, he was like, "Yes, Mark," you know, like, but I can imagine loads of people just send him messages stuff all the time. It's just so things are getting done. October is going to be amazing for Dash.
It is amazing.
Yes. And you know what's the best part is Ryan has said it, going about himself, going on the street, talking to businesses, trying to set up to take Dash. So wow. I'm just saying, that's from the top down, right?
Yeah, and I'm hoping
rundown of what's coming in October. You know, just 5:30. Obviously, we've had like loads of good news recently, and it just keeps on coming. You know, yeah. What's next?
Well, there's some good news on our part that we're probably going to end up dropping two big things. But I think there's going to be announcements, a few exchanges, and I think there's going to be a steady build up towards the Money 2020. And
honestly, I've gotten commitments to 3 conferences already, and an invitation to another one. So I might be traveling the entire month. So I got a schedule. I'm starting to get freaked out. Where's the liquor? Where's the liquor?
Right. So Ash, before I forget, so it's eWallet.co.uk.
Yeah.
Do you have any social media, or?
We aren't really focused on any of that stuff right now. We're focused on getting the platform right and doing one thing really well, which is letting people buy Dash with
confirmed
and happy days.
So what's the best way for people to find you? If they saw that and said, "Oh, I think that's absolutely awful. I want to message Ash right now and tell him how he can fix it." What's the best way to get in contact?
I'm on Discord from pretty much 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. every single day. I'm spamming that shit up. I am Ash at eWallet.co.uk. I am on Telegram. I'm all over the place. Like I'm very easy to reach, and so is Alex and Rich. You know, but Discord or Ash at eWallet.co.uk are the easy ways to do so.
Excellent. And when can we expect the next update from you? Because sometimes you post videos on your proposal, right?
I've been recording, which is why I don't have my nice Dash t-shirt when this is my brother's, because I've been recording our latest update, which is where we go to the Isle of Man and we talk about that and what's next and the payment providers. But yeah, it's pretty much what we covered in this. But yeah, I'll be uploading that probably in the next couple of days.
And that will go to the proposal on Dash Central.
Proposal, Dash Central, Dash.org forum, everything. And Dash Watch. You can see all of our expenses, all of our public reports. They're all pretty nice. The guys at Dash Watch have been pretty good. So anyone can check those out. Obviously, our proposal's finished all of its cycles now, but we're still updating, and we will continue to do so.
And one last thing, the Dash Boost proposal, what's that called? What's the title of that, just for those that are interested?
Gosh, that's a good question. What is the title of that? It's sort of like Exchange something or other. Dash Exchange Volume Data for Adoption. There you go.
Excellent. Well, I think that'll actually interest a lot of people, and that is still up for voting. And it looks like it's passing. It's doing very, very, very well. But if you are interested and you want more information on that, definitely go check that out. Love Dash Boost. Pastor, you can thank me later for that. Right. Okay. Well, what a fantastic show. Thank you for watching. Joel, would you like to do the after party talk and set us out that way?
Yeah, why not? So every single time we do this for now, we start a brilliant idea that Brian came up with called the after party, where we just do a free for all, throw a bunch of people in, just chat like this, except there's no structure. We don't have to respect the guest time or interest because there's no guests. We're all guests and none of us are guests. We can swear. We can talk all kinds of smack about other people. Basically everything that you wanted when you tuned into this podcast but never gotten and are now feeling a little bit blue-balled. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Dash Nation Discord channel. You're going to ask around, say, hey, where's the after party at? And then if there's 10 slots available, you might get in. There's people that come in, people that go. Yeah, that's kind of how it works.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Ash, for coming on. This was episode 71 of the Dash Force Free Amigos podcast. Have a fantastic weekend. I'm sure Joel and Brian will both be watching the UFC. I know they're big fans of that. Conor McGregor for us Brits.
October 6th.
Yeah. So, is it next week? It's next weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
Come on, Mark. Come on.
All right, cool. No, that makes me really happy because I thought I was going to miss it because I've got a christening to go to on Sunday. And as it's early hours in the morning, I was thinking, well, I'm not fussed. I can't watch it anyway. But that makes me feel good. Okay, well, excellent. Well, in that case, whatever you do, have a fantastic weekend. Keep it dashy. Stay positive. Stay humble. And most importantly, stay dashy. Till later, guys.